Alright, this fucking thing needs to be shiny, because this is getting ridiculous. Okay. So I was gonna do this last night, but obviously I didn't. Not because I was too tired, not because I had to wake up early, but simply because I didn't have enough time to watch all the shows. Look, it's hard to reserve time, to set time aside to watch all these shows, especially moving forward. Because these past 2 days, this past weekend, today being Sunday, I started my new job, or rather, I started training. And I've had to wake up at 8 in the morning to, you know, get ready. Earlier today in the public bathroom at the new job, I saw not only a cockroach, but I also saw what I believe in the garbage to be a poop-covered underpants. Look, I will wake up early in the morning to ensure I shit before I leave. To make sure that I do not use the public bathrooms, because the public bathroom's the only option. I will wake up extra early to make sure I poo before I leave. So, these past 2 days I started the training, and yes, it is overwhelming. It is a ton to learn. There are 3 separate doctors, and each one has something different I gotta know to do. Oh, if only there was one doctor and it was nice and simple, one set of tasks I need to follow. No, there are 3 doctors and 3 separate steps of procedures I gotta follow. Yippee. So I did start the training. I did wake up at 8 in the morning these past 2 days, and tomorrow I gotta wake up at 7 to go to my part-time, which will end soon, because when I start the full-time, when I start the new job full-time, then the part-time will end. But in the meantime, until then, I'm still gonna go. So yeah, I didn't have time to watch the shows. I didn't do this yesterday, not because I was too tired, not because I still had to wake up in the morning, because I didn't have time to watch all the shows. This is my life going forward. I can't say I necessarily like it. You know, I don't like change, but nothing is constant in life. The previous chapter of my life is over. I'm going into a new chapter of my life now. And it's scary. It's overwhelming. But happen it will. By the way, right now there's some sort of like NBA basketball game going on. The Toronto Raptors versus, what's it called? The Cleveland Ohios? Wait. I don't know. I don't care about sports. I don't care about basketball, but because everyone else around me does, my brother-in-law and my friends, they care. Every now and then, as they're watching, I'll accidentally pay attention. I don't know, I feel like the only reason I would cheer for the Toronto Raptors not only is because my friends cheer for them, but also, you know, it's kind of like our home team. Like, why would I cheer for the Cleveland's Ohio team, right? Of course I would cheer for my home team being the Toronto Raptors, even though I don't care about basketball. Well, everyone's cheering for the Toronto Raptors, of course, and at first they got the lead, and then they tied, and then they lost the lead, so it seems like every single time the team that we're voting for, they seem to get the lead, and then they fall short. This happened a couple months ago with the Toronto Blue Jays and whatever the championship baseball game that was, whatever. I don't know sports. Where everyone wanted them to win so badly, but they fell short. Whatever, I don't care about sports. So anyways, today in Pokemon Go, I got yet another shiny Meltan. I so far have gotten 12! Tomorrow will be the last day of the event where Meltan can be shiny, so fingers crossed I can get as many as I can. And also, this was pretty funny. A friend of mine sent me this today. That Peter Parker's passport expires today, May 3rd, 2026. It expires today! Although canonically, we know that the US government lost all their information on Peter Parker years ago. But yeah, that's today! Peter Parker's passport expires today. What's funny is this iteration of Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, is damn near the exact same age I am. Same year. His birthday is just like 2 weeks earlier than mine. So Peter's my age, and well, let's see everything Peter has accomplished. He's Spider-Man. Look at everything I've accomplished. Zilch. I thought about this earlier today. Would I trade my life, everything that my life has, to be Peter Parker, to have Peter Parker's life? You would have you really have to think about that too. Not only do you have the awesome powers of being Spider-Man, but you also get all of the tragedies. You lose Uncle Ben, you lose your parents, you know? It's kind of like, would you give up your life to be Batman, to be Bruce Wayne? Not only are you Batman, not only are you ultra rich, but you're also sad and alone. You lost your parents. I mean, you know what? No, I'm not going to say that. That's insensitive. Alright, so, a couple things. First of all, Mortal Kombat 2 comes out in a couple days. I'm so excited to watch that film. I'm hoping that it's good, considering the first film was utterly garbage. The first film sucked. So I'm really hoping that this second film will, bare minimum, be good. So, in the car, listening to the radio, I heard this. I heard an ad for Mortal Kombat 2. I heard the lady on the radio say something like, "Experience Kung Lao's fury on the big screen." And I'm thinking to myself, Kung Lao? Not Liu Kang, not Raiden, not Johnny Cage. Kung Lao's fury. Specifically Kung Lao's fury in Mortal Kombat 2. Like, what? Why specifically Kung Lao? He dead. I know he's returning in the second film, but he died in the first film. So, like, experience specifically Kung Lao's fury. I just thought that was funny. Also, couple of things. First of all, the Oscars changed their ways, like changed some of their rules for, you know, how films actually win awards. They changed up their rulings for AI films, which is good. It has to be human-made, primarily human-made at least. I mean, that's very good. Did you guys hear about that AI, like 100% AI Panda movie that China's producing? Well, produce is a little bit generous. Yeah, it's great. The Oscars are changing the ways that they actually view films. And also now actors can be nominated for more than one Oscar. So imagine if in the Oscars an actor just flexes and wins like 2 or 3 Oscars at the same time. Got room for one more? Sure. Always welcome the help. Ah, there was more for me to say, but now I don't even remember. Oh man, what else was I about to say? There was more for me to say. Now I don't even remember. So the schedule moving forward is probably going to change considering the new job. I'm going to have to wake up extra early. Like, I'm going to have to adjust to a brand new sleeping schedule. You know, waking up at 8's not that bad, compared to waking up at 7. Waking up at 7's pretty hard to do, at least for me. But waking up at 8, it's like, well, that's at least a little more manageable. Oh, you want to hear something? So, walking around, I saw this, like, gold Gardevoir card being sold. Obviously, you know, I don't collect cards anymore, with an asterisk. You know, maybe sometimes I'll buy a card here and there, but actually buying packs, buying boxes, hoping to pull the rares or the full arts or whatever, I don't do that no more. And so I was texting No Shame in Feeding. I was texting him like, you know, I've actually considered maybe getting my Van Gogh Pikachu card graded. But PSA is utterly untrustable, so I ain't gonna do that. Who knows? The Van Gogh card I have somewhere could be a PSA 10. It could not be. In my eyes, it is a PSA 10, simply because I never even opened it. Like, it's still in the plastic wrapping. So we don't know. For all I know, it could be a PSA 10, but I don't know. You know, I have myself a Schrodinger's PSA 10. It is and is not a PSA 10 at the same time. It could be simply because I said so. And because, you know, I never even touched the actual card itself. I never got my greasy paws on the cardboard itself. It's still in the plastic wrapping. It hasn't been bent. It hasn't even been touched. Nothing. Ah, yes, my Schrodinger's PSA 10. You gotta love it. I wonder how much that would actually be worth. Like a Van Gogh Pikachu card PSA 10. Someone let me know. Anyway, dude, here's the code. Same as last time. Go nuts. And another thing, so you guys know that recently I've been working on my Alpha decks in Legends Arceus, where I catch one of everything Alpha. Some of them are proving to be quite a challenge, like the Space-Time Distortion exclusives, some baby Pokemon. I need 8 Alpha Eevees, or is it 9? No, it's 9. I need 9 Alpha Eevees. And I haven't gotten one yet. I haven't even found a single outbreak of an Eevee yet. Not on its own, not in a massive mass outbreak. Remember when I was going for the shiny Enamorus and I got that outbreak for Eevee? Yeah, I got lucky there. But now, I need 8 of them Alpha. No, 9 of them Alpha. Ah, no wonder I put off doing the Alpha decks in Legends Arceus for so long. So anyways, working on the Alpha decks in Legends Arceus has kind of inspired me to do 2 things. I guess you can call these hunts. Well, one of them is a hunt. I didn't really think about this at the time, but now it's kind of too late. But that's not going to stop me from still doing it. So, before Legends ZA came out, there was only one Pokemon in Legends Arceus that you can catch and evolve into a Pokemon that's not in Legends Arceus. You can get an alpha of a Pokemon that is not in Legends Arceus. That being Mr. Rhyme. You can catch an Alpha Mime Jr., evolve it into a Galarian Mr. Mime, and then a Mr. Rhyme. And before Legends ZA came out, this was the only way to get an Alpha Mr. Rhyme. A Pokemon that can't even be in Legends Arceus. So that's kind of inspired me. Maybe I'll do just that. Maybe I will hunt for a shiny Alpha Mime Jr. so that I can evolve it into a shiny Alpha Mr. Rhyme that came from Legends Arceus. I may do that. Knowing me, I will probably do that. Alright, what's the second thing? I don't know if this dude's gonna join. Are you gonna join? Alright, second thing I might do, and knowing me, I probably will do this at some point. You know how once you get banished with the purple skies, it's technically red skies, but to me it's always looked more purple. When the purple skies happens, you're banished from Jubilife Village. Space-time distortions spawn more. Instead of waiting possibly up to 40 minutes, they spawn every like 5 to 10 minutes maybe. I might do that. I might start a new file, play up to the point you get banished, to hunt the space-time distortion exclusives. Remember when I did that a long time ago, but then I gave up? So what I'm thinking of doing, because obviously you cannot get the shiny charm up to that point in the game. So the next best thing is to perfect their dexes. So I might do that. I think I may start a brand new save file and play up to being banished, but play with all of the exclusives on my team. So that being Magnemite, Jotonian Sneasel, Cranidos, Shieldon, Porygon. I think those are the only 5 exclusives. So I may actually do that. I may play through the game again with those on my team to perfect the decks as I go. And then... okay, I don't think this dude's gonna join. And then hunt them while I'm banished. I might actually do that. At some point. Because, you know, the new job is gonna get in the way of doing that. Oh, speaking of Galarian Mr. Mime. Yeah, I can't believe I never thought about that. The only way to get Alpha Mr. Rhyme at the time, and I never thought about doing that. Damn, there ain't nothing good here. There ain't nothing good here for real, for real. Oh. Just got back from the bathroom. Well, this path sucked anyway, so I could use the help. No, you can join now, since this team sucks. I don't want to do it alone. What part of the South are you from? Southern Canada, so I guess I'm more north. Anyway, so today we have 4 shows to go over. Not Invincible, because that season's over now. So instead, to fill in the gap, we will have From Season 4 to go over. Oh, yeah. I know you guys have been waiting for this. Because you know how much I love From. That phrase you just used, what a southern phrase. What did I say? I don't know anymore. Okay, so aside from, we have another episode of The Boys. We have the season finale to Monarch Season 2. Ain't got no? Yeah, that's the internet lingo. Okay, go right. Bet. So, yeah. Season 2 of From, the season finale. So that's another show down the hatch. And Daredevil Born Again. So, The Boys, Daredevil, Monarch, From. Aight, good. Let's go into it. Okay, so let's start off with The Boys. This was a weird episode. Episode 5 of Season 5, I saw a lot of discourse online about this episode, because not a lot of people liked it. People were saying this was filler, especially in the final season. This is the 4th last episode ever? There's 3 episodes left after this, and then the show's over. And yet they gave us a filler episode. On one hand, I understand why people are upset about the lack of action. The lack of action and fast pace in this season, because this season has been pretty slow. But on the other hand, they did set up some stuff in this episode for hopefully the final 3 episodes to pay off in a big way. Because if not, then Season 5 will be a bit of a drag. And also proving more and more that Season 1 was really the best. I like Season 2. Season 3 was pretty good. Season 4 sucked. Season 4 was pretty much a waste of time. Season 5 is so far. Could be a little bit better. Could be a little more exciting. You know what's one character I can't help but notice is missing in Season 5? Joe Kessler. Where is my Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Where is my Negan? I guess he was too busy voicing Conquest, he couldn't make it on set. Like, they kind of just wrote him off. They didn't even write him off. He kind of just vanished. The character just doesn't show up anymore. I wonder if they'll address that, or they'll just be like, nah, don't worry about that. But yeah, where is Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this season? Anyway, so let's begin. We begin the episode with Jared Padalecki's character, who we later learn is Mr. Marathon. He's voicing an ad campaign for the Democratic Church of America. Homelander, he wants to be more direct about being God to the world. We see Firecracker hand him the Homelander Bible. Literally just a Bible with a gold statue of him on the book cover. I don't know. Kind of ballsy to, you know, reprint the Bible, like rewrite it. Yeah, but Firecracker convinces Homelander not to rush this. She also says that the Bible printing, the production for the Bibles, well, they had a little bit of an issue. So yeah, don't rush this, Homelander. You only get one shot at this. After all, they're not Arby's. They're the Cheesecake Factory. Sage warns a religious upheaval like this will cause civil unrest, so Homelander suggests calling all soups back home, back to America. Because according to him, I think he said something like, because who cares if they're in it, if they're in Who Gives a Fuckistan. I think he said something like that. Anyway, so Firecracker gets a call from someone. And here we see this episode's gimmick, because instead of the usual title card saying the boys, it straight up just says Firecracker. So this episode we're going to follow multiple characters. It's going to be like chapters, and you know it's the next character chapter because their name pops up on screen. So Firecracker meets with the Reverend from her old childhood church in secret at a diner. It almost looks like how Matt and Fisk met in Season 1 at the diner. Of Born Again, I should specify. The Reverend tries to convince some sense into Firecracker, and he does. He even asks, like, do you still have that toy plastic Jesus figurine you got when you were a kid? I don't know, it almost seems like a throwaway line, but that actually does come back later in the episode, at the very end. So, after Firecracker and Soldier Boy fuck, they discuss Homelander. You know, that's when they have some of their pillow talk. Anyways, after that, Soldier Boy leaves for LA. Firecracker, she's trying to look for Homelander, finds Old Father in his room instead with bottles of donated milk. Okay. And also says that Homelander also flew to LA. Old Father calls out Firecracker's delay of the Homelander Bibles and starts getting suspicious of her. Not like that goes anywhere. Spoilers. So you see Firecracker really having some doubts in her heart. She does a truth bomb episode on her old church. She reads off the telegram, tells a bunch of lies about her church and her reverend. Oof, things I don't even want to mention. Yeah, you really see that it hurts her to do so, because she cries tears, not of joy like we've seen in previous seasons, but tears of actual pain. Anyway, that's it for the Firecracker chapter. Now we follow Black Noir, or, wow, that voice cracked. Now we follow Black Noir, or Justin, as his actual name is. Man, they heavily character assassinated Black Noir. Ever since it killed off Irving, just simply knowing it's someone else under the Noir mask is just like, man, this sucks now. The original Noir had so much aura to him, not this guy. Anyways, we follow Justin as he auditions for theater in front of Adam Burke. At first I couldn't believe this guy was still alive. Man, I never remembered this guy's name. I always just called him the director in previous seasons. So, Adam takes interest in Justin, saying that he's a great talent. But Justin, he's just like, man, there's this dude that keeps one-upping me at work. He sickens me. Obviously not knowing it's a Deep, because nobody knows that Justin is the new Black Noir. Everyone's still under the impression the original Noir is still alive, like nothing happened to him. So Adam mentions that filming Dawn of the Seven, you know, a small movie that you may have heard, grossed like a couple $1 million, no big deal. He mentions how the Deep sucks during filming. So now Justin knows that Deep kind of sucks just as a person, but we already knew that. We see Old Father on Deep's podcast, and hilariously, Old Father is caught off guard by Noir speaking. Excuse me. Noir convinces Old Father to choose him over Deep for something with Homelander. So Deep, he's not happy about this. Deep follows Justin to see where he disappears to. Adam, he was actually going to go to Broadway with Justin. So, you know, Justin, life is looking good for him. Life is about to step up. Anyways, Adam, he goes to take shit, and then, oh my god, an eel coming out of the toilet goes up his ass. And it actually kills him. This dude is screaming for his life, screaming in pain because there is an eel literally up his anus, eating him from the inside out. Oh my god. There are some very brutal ways to die. And I can assume this is one of them. So, yeah. Not Deep. Noir tries to help him. He literally grabs the eel and yanks it out of his butthole. But then, you see just a lot of bloody trails left behind. You see the actual colon sticking out. What a horrible way to die. But then again, Adam did kind of suck. I don't know if he deserved to die like that, though. I'm gonna be honest. So, Noir is all pissed that Deep did this. I can't believe you've done this. But then Deep just retaliates by threatening Noir. He threatens Noir by telling Homelander about the play. Uh-oh, can't let that happen. Guess all Noir can do now is shut the hell up. Damn, I know how he feels because I gotta deal with that shit with my sister all the time. Alright, next chapter. This chapter was nuts. It's like stupid. So, the next chapter we begin with a dream of Homelander in a field going, good boy, good boy. And then shows his ass to the camera. You wanna fuck me, don't you? What the fuck? It's like, trust me, Anthony Stark, we need this for the episode. Just, you know, show your ass to the camera and go like, wanna fuck me? Yes, Anthony Stark, this is necessary for the episode. Trust me. And it's revealed this is Terror's dream. Who is Terror, you might ask? Well, it's actually Butcher's dog. Butcher's bulldog. Which, by the way, I do want to say rest in peace to Bentley, the dog who plays Terror in The Boys. He did pass away last year. He passed away at the age of 11. So rest in peace to Bentley, the dog who plays Terror. Thankfully, you know, they got filming done before he passed. Bentley will always be remembered as Terror on The Boys. So rest in peace to Bentley. Alright, so this is Terror's chapter. Not only does he dream about Homelander, he also humps a Homelander doll. Annie and Kimiko come in. Annie takes away the doll to wash it. And then Terror just walks around to search for his hump toy. This is actually the only scene of Annie in this episode. She's in this episode for like 30 seconds, and that's it. Well, Terror walks in on MM and Butcher. MM drops a chocolate bar, and he still eats it. Terror almost got it though, but obviously dogs can't have chocolate. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to see this about MM. Not only did he drink toilet water in the first episode, he also eats a chocolate bar that fell onto the ground. We know how much of a germaphobe MM is. Why is he like this? Well, MM says it's because he's pretty much given up. Finding out that Soldier Boy can't die. Monique and Janine are probably better off without him. Yeah, you kind of can't blame him for losing a little bit of hope. Anyway, so Terror goes to Frenchie in the kitchen. Frenchie, you know, this was actually a pretty nice moment where Frenchie is just talking to Terror. Frenchie's just like, Kimiko wants one of you. But why? What do? You just eat, sleep, play fetch. I throws the ball, you bring it back. I have killed all the plants I have ever had. Surely I would kill you too. Oh my god, imagine Frenchie as a parent. But yeah, Frenchie kind of doubts himself about being capable of give Kimiko the life she deserves. Anyway, so Frenchie burns his chocolate souffle. He throws it straight into the garbage bin, which Terror digs into. Terror just goes hog wild into the trash, while Frenchie leaves and gets some air outside. Huey argues with Butcher about not using V1 for Annie and Kimiko. But then they notice that Terror is digging all in the trash. They realize his face is covered in chocolate. Uh-oh, that's not good. They gotta act fast, otherwise Terror's done for. So Huey really quickly grabs the hydrogen peroxide and just pretty much has to make Terror chug it down so that he can throw up all the chocolate. You know, it's kind of nice to see the characters unify to worry about anything. Like, collectively worry about the same thing. Anyway, so Terror, he has to be not feeling that great right now. He just threw his guts out. So Terror sleeps and he dreams again about Homelander's ass. Only this time he's holding a turkey leg. You want the turkey leg? Well, you're gonna have to fuck me to get it. Yes, Anthony Starr, this was necessary for the episode. Trust me. Okay, so, because of this nice act of Huey acting so, quickly to save Terror, Butcher decides to let Huey have V1 for Annie and Kimiko, if they find some. Well, Butcher gives back the Homelander doll to Terror before Annie could wash it, because he knows that Terror likes the dry, crusty bits. Alright, Terror's chapter is over. Sister Sage chapter time. So Sage and Soldier Boy talk in the elevator, and then she summons Ashley and tells her to call back all soups to America. There was also this pretty funny line between Soldier Boy and the Deeps, like, you want knee pads? What? Because you're staring at me as if you want to suck my hog, so I'm asking you, do you want knee pads? I'm gonna use that line. That's actually a pretty clever line. Do you want knee pads? What? Because you're staring at me like you want to blow me off. Do you want knee pads? I'm gonna use that line. That's actually a pretty good line. Anyway, so Sage talks to Ashley's back head about preventing Homelander from becoming immortal. Because as it turns out, who would have guessed, Sage can't stand Homelander either. I cannot see what those two are. That's a Chansey, that is a Vileplume. No. So, Sage and Ashley share drinks and talk about Ashley's mother, talks about Sage's grandmother, nothing really too big to mention here. But remember, Sage, she grew a disdain for the world ever since she came up with a cure for her grandmother's cancer, but then she got laughed at to her face. So, Sage, she doesn't care about the world. Speaking of which, Sage reveals her plan, finally. And her plan is to basically burn the world down. She wants the soup virus to be released. Her plan is simple. Soup virus first. Soups realize it was humans who did it, so soups attack humans for it. And then the virus kills the soups. It will be absolutely anarchy outside. An absolute bloodbath. This way, when the world is in chaos, when the world is burning, Sage can read in her bunker in peace. Anyway, that's pretty much Sage's chapter. Next up, Soldier Boy, and I think Soldier Boy's chapter is the rest of the episode. So Soldier Boy offers Homelander to try to get info out of Stan Edgar, and they do, by threatening Zoe and Samir. Dan tells them he knows someone who might know where V1 is. He tells them to go see Mr. Marathon in LA. So this is where we meet Jared Padalecki's character, Mr. Marathon. Turns out he was in the 7 until he was replaced by Heatran. And this was a pretty funny line. They were looking at his movie posters. His movies were made by Sony Pictures TV, where washed up soups go to die. That's actually a pretty funny nod, considering Sony Pictures produces the actual show. They produce the actual The Boys show, so they're just taking jabs at their own producers. Anyway, so inside of Mr. Marathon's mansion... Hold on. We see a bunch of celebrity cameos. We see Kumail Nanjiani, Seth Rogen, Misha Collins, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Will Forte, and everyone plays themselves except for Misha Collins. Misha Collins plays Mal Chemical, I think his name is. By the way, yes, I am aware that this is a big Supernatural reunion. I never watched Supernatural myself, but this is a big Supernatural reunion with Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins. I'll be honest, I mostly know Misha Collins when he played Two-Face. He played Harvey Dent in Gotham Knights. And you know, I actually didn't hate that show. I actually would have watched the season 2. I didn't hate the show. It was woke, but I actually somewhat enjoyed it. But yeah, it's like, damn, I would have loved to see Misha Collins' take on Two-Face. Because he actually did have his face burned at the end of season 1, but then it got cancelled, so damn. We don't live in a good timeline. And we especially don't live in a good timeline because that show was woke. Imagine how great it would have been if it wasn't. Oh well. So yeah, we just have a bunch of celebrities in the episode. Remember, Seth Rogen was in the show before. I forget when. So Marathon takes them into his secret room with a bunch of Vought memorabilia. Homelander sees his baby oil stash and he is disgusted. Nah, breast milk is perfectly fine, but baby oil? Nah. You disgust me. He tells them that Bomb Site might have V1. So there's the next mention of Bomb Site. We heard them say this when they went to Fort Harmony. Anyways, Marathon just does cocaine with Soldier Boy instead. Marathon says a joke about Homelander's cape, how it's probably hard, doesn't really flap in the wind very much because he probably jerks off into the cape. Homelander hears this, of course, and he is not happy. He's also not happy waiting for Bomb Site to come, so he's about to leave. He also threatens all the actors. He's just like, by the way, you're all going to pay soon for all of your hateful comments and your memes, especially the memes. So now there's just fighting between them all. Mount Chemical actually knocks out Homelander with his noxious gas, and everyone offers Soldier Boy to help them get rid of him. Turns out Mal Chemical was at Herogasm. He knows about Soldier Boy's chest blast. It can burn the V out of someone's blood. So they want Soldier Boy to blast Homelander so that he can be powerless. And wow, what a voice crack again. So that he can be powerless so they can get rid of him more easily. But Soldier Boy, he decides to side with his son. His son may be an asexual freak, but he's my asexual freak. Nobody fucks my son but me. That came out wrong. When is Homelander asexual? Hasn't he been proven to be straight? Like, he slept with Firecracker. What? No, not Firecracker. He slept with Stormfront, didn't he? When has he been asexual? Whatever. So Soldier Boy, he kills Malchemical. Marathon, because he can run super fast. He just runs through everyone like the way Heatran did to Robin. And Soldier Boy, he just uses everyone as a meat shield. He first throws Will Forte in front of Marathon, just splatters him. And then there's this other guy. I actually don't know who he is. This other guy comes out of the bathroom, is surprised to see Soldier Boy of all people, but then, yeah, he gets swiftly killed. He then tricks both Kumail and Christopher to die. You know what's actually funny? Kumail Nanjiani actually voiced a character in The Boys Diabolical. So either it's someone in universe who sounds exactly like him, or it's implied that, you know, the actor voicing the character, that's how the actor would look in live action. Or that's how the character would look in live action. Look like the actor. I don't know, it was also pretty jarring that all of them were just playing themselves, except for Misha Collins. But yeah, Marathon then kills Seth Rogen, you know, Alan the Alien himself. He actually doesn't kill him immediately, he actually just rips him in half. So Seth Rogen is dying a slow, horrible death because he is missing everything from the torso down. So Marathon just puts him down by snapping his neck. Soldier Boy actually uses his baby oil to stop Marathon, and gets the truth out of him if Bombsight really has V1 by breaking his legs, or rather breaking them at the ankles. So Marathon says, yes, that's true. Bombsight does have V1, but I don't know where he is, I swear. Homelander by now has woken up and he just stomps Marathon's head, killing him. It's actually funny that we see this on screen, because we didn't even see him stomp Marty's head, killing him. Whatever. So, Soldier Boy reveals to him that he's been sleeping with Firecracker, and that she talks to him after sex. The pillow talk. Well, back at Vought Tower, Homelander summons Firecracker, who now throws away her little plastic Jesus figure. Told you that would come back. He questions Firecracker about her doubts and tells her to collect her things and leave. In all honesty, Firecracker probably should have taken that deal, because she comes up with lines on the spot to convince Homelander that she is loyal to him. But Homelander doesn't buy them and kills her. Homelander just pushes Firecracker into the wing of an eagle statue, killing her. I saw comments like this online. She was killed by the eagle's left wing. Firecracker was killed by the left wing. I mean, you kind of can't blame people for saying that, because, you know, it's been pretty clear that the writers of the show are pretty hard left, or at least that's how they come off. But yeah, I just found it funny that people were pointing out Firecracker was killed by the left wing of the eagle, you know, the symbol of freedom for America. They are killing off characters one by one this season. First Heatran dies, and now Firecracker dies. But you know what scares me the most? We have seen only characters on the VOT side die so far. We haven't seen one of the boys' characters die yet. And I know there's an episode coming out that is literally... The title is literally based on Frenchie, Kamiko, and MM. So, yikes. I don't want any of our characters to die, but the show is kind of really pushing those characters in particular dying. I don't know about Kamiko, but it seems like the show's really pushing maybe MM or Frenchie will die. And I don't want them to die. I like these characters. But yeah, we'll have to see. There's 3 more episodes left. Okay, let's get a move on, because I'm running out of time here. So, Daredevil, Season 2, Episode 7. Actually, there is one thing I forgot to mention about the last episode. When Daredevil and Kingpin were fighting, Fisk just threw Daredevil into the Rabbit in the Snowstorm painting. The painting's ruined. The last little memorabilia he had from Vanessa's gone. Damn, you know, that painting was legendary. It still had the bloodstains from Season 3. And it also turns out that it was actually Christophe in the trunk, thanks to the recap. So the body that Buck and Daniel disposed, that was Christophe's body. I did not know that. Thank you to the show's recap per episode for clarifying that. That was the last one for you? Oh, alright. Well, thanks for helping. Okay, so we begin this episode the morning after the riots. Fisk notices a ring missing. The same ring that Heather took. I think it's a ring. I don't think it's earrings. It could be earrings. I don't know. We see that Karen is being arrested. Well, it's not the first time we've seen her in a jail cell. But she probably doesn't have good memories about the last time she was in jail. She almost got, let's say that. But then again, if not for that, she never would have met Matt and Foggy. And Fisk visits Karen. They do not have a good exchange. Karen has one phone call to make. I don't think it's clarified who she called, but whatever. We get awesome characters returning in this episode. So we see Jessica visit Charles and threatens him to stay away. Charles is just in his underwear, waking up. Like, how do you sleep? Like, I couldn't help but notice he slept with his glasses on. But I suppose he was reading as he fell asleep, so whatever. And this is big. This is big. Not only does Charles know Jessica's powers aren't working, Charles also mentions he is the only one who can connect Jessica to Luke. Oh my god! Please, please. You are setting this up so hard right now. I want it confirmed that Danielle is the daughter of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Please. I said last time, I always wanted Luke Cage and Jessica Jones together. I didn't like it when they made Luke and Claire Temple an item. But now it seems like they're saying, well, that didn't work out. Luke and Jessica got back together. Yes! Yeah, Charles is no longer working with Fisk, and he believes Fisk will go after Governor McCaffrey. So Jessica tells this to Matt. Matt also introduces Jessica to Cherry, who is a big fan of Jessica's work. Who isn't, huh? So Cherry tells Matt where Karen is, but Matt needs to get her out legally. He cannot just bust her out of jail. So Daredevil frees Dex for one good favor. And I actually like this too. More callbacks to the original show. I love it. He says that he hates Dex for Foggy. for Father Lampton, for Agent Nadim. Oh yeah, give me more of these. Give me more of these references. They do a team up, ultimately. Well, not really a team up. He mostly just tells Dex what to do to redeem himself. That one good favor. We don't see them fight side by side yet. I don't know if there's going to be that later this season. So Karen, get this, Karen gets visited by Brett Mahoney. He's returned. We haven't seen this character since Daredevil Season 3. That was 8 years ago. Oh, it's great to see our boy back. Brett quietly, sadly though, this is the only time he's in the episode. I hope he returns for more. Brett quietly frees Karen to see Daredevil, to talk. I don't know. Brett, he sees Karen Page and Daredevil are close. They hug, they kiss. I don't know if Brett knows yet that Matt is Daredevil. Yeah, Karen has to fight Fisk legally in court. But they actually think of something. Court has cameras. And Daredevil has an idea on how to stop him. At first I thought maybe he was going to unmask himself in court and reveal his identity. Like, I, Daredevil, am Matt Murdock, the person who saved Mayor Fisk from the assassination. I thought he was going to reveal his identity. But no, that's not what he plans. Anyway, so Fisk meets Hawkberg, then meets Heather. The exchange with Hawkberg didn't really matter. Fisk mentions to Heather how he views love is a prison. That is exactly what we hear him say in the original show. Ooh, I love me these callbacks. Fisk, somehow, knows it was Heather who took the ring. Actually, these might be earrings, because why would there be a set? Whatever. He knows it was Heather who took the original one, so he gives her the other one. Well, that's nice that Fisk didn't kill her for it. Fisk has killed more for less. Anyway, so Karen appears in court represented by Kirsten. We see that the public is on Karen's side, seeing her as a hero. We follow Daniel and BB. Daniel is mad at BB and is worried for both of them about Buck. Daniel, you know, he claims to now be siding with BB. Daniel claims to know someone for a safe house. But instead he texts Buck. Texts Buck where he's gonna be with BB, where he's gonna drop off BB to hand her over to Buck. Anyway, so it's Kirsten versus Hawkberg in court for Karen. Kirsten calls her co-counsel, lawyer Matthew Murdock. Remember, the public thought Murdock was missing. But now he just suddenly appears. Nobody questioned where he's been this whole time. Who cares? It's awesome. He had this triumphant, epic return back into court. It was more epic than when he showed up in court in the She-Hulk series, which sucked. Yeah, Matt Murdock appearing, a move Fisk seemingly didn't anticipate. Anyways, they question Powell and Cole. Kirsten, she's able to call Cole bullshit. Because she also brings up, did you also kill Hector Ayala? We also see the small scene with Governor McCaffrey as she moves forward with her plans to pretty much stop Fisk. Well, Daniel and BB have arrived to their location, the quote-unquote safe house. Daniel tells Daniel tells BB that he and Buck buried a body. Now, obviously, that's not a good sign because, well, no one can know. So Daniel almost hands BB over to Buck. he almost brings her to Buck. But he changes his mind last minute and lets BB go. Anyways, now court is adjourned until the next day. Matt is able to tell that, hey, the task force, they're not leaving, are they? As he asks Kirsten about it. Well, we see a bunch of the good cops try to escort Matt and everyone away into the underground parking lot. But then the task force, they try to kill them all in the parking lot. They just try to do a drive-by. Wouldn't a courthouse parking lot have security cameras? I'm sure they would, and I'm sure, hopefully, that the task force knew this too, and they would disable the cameras. Well, Governor McCaffrey almost gets killed, almost gets assassinated from the back, but then gets saved by Bullseye. He walks away triumphantly from her manor as the cops show up. Anyways, Daniel, he now has to tell Buck that BB isn't coming. And Buck, he ain't happy about this. So Buck beats Daniel trying to get the information of where BB is. And Heather visits Karen and asks her the true or false questions, the same questions we saw her ask Jacques. You know, swordsman, and she doctored all of the answers. You know, low blow from Heather. She brings up how Karen killed her own brother. By the way, that episode still, in my opinion, sucks. It was a great backstory for Karen, but it was really out of place in the season. Like, it really just derailed the pacing, in my opinion, but whatever. A lot of people like that episode. Not only brings up killing her own brother, but also killing James Wesley. So tension is high between them. We also see that, at least from Heather's perspective, Muse is in the background. Muse is still haunting her. And I can't lie, that was pretty creepy, the way Muse was just standing there menacingly behind her. Anyway, so, as the episode ends, we see Matt praying in the church as somebody walks in. Probably Jessica. We don't see who it is, but we do see high heel boots, so it's probably Jessica. Anyway, so Buck actually does shoot Daniel, killing him. And as Buck leaves, you see that even Buck was upset from doing that, because Buck actually has grown fond of Daniel. And that's the end of the episode. Damn, poor Daniel. He got killed right after his birthday. Literally the day after his birthday. Damn. But at the end, Buck did grow his conscience back, saved BB's life. So yeah, at least he did that. Whew, a lot of talking to do, and I still got 2 more episodes to go over. At least moving forward, it's going to be a little bit more calm. Because up next, I'm going to talk about Monarch, the Season 2 finale. So, Monarch is done. Invincible's done. All that's left currently is The Boys, Daredevil, and now From. So once those shows are done, not only will I have From left to go over, but there's also 2 shows that came out earlier in the year that I have yet to go over. Those shows being Ted Season 2 and Beast Games Season 2. So I gotta play a little catch up with those two. And then there's all these movies coming out too. Anyway, so let's go over Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 2, Episode 10. The final episode for Season 2, the Season 2 finale. The ending was pretty huge. Yeah. So anyways, you can see that, oh yeah, they saved their money for the big CGI fight in this episode. Damn, still not shiny. How am I doing on the ores, by the way? How much more bag space do I have? I am maxed out! I should have checked earlier. I'll do half. Just because you don't know when you'll actually get a good path you want to save. Damn, maybe I should have taken Rabombi. Anyway, so let's begin. Monarch Season 2, Episode 10. So we begin seeing Lee and Keiko discuss Billy. Keiko, for a little bit of a moment, actually believed Billy abandoned Hiroshi. But now that she learned the truth, he was just trying to put their family back together. She is disgusted by the thought of ever doubting him. Damn, this path ain't that great, actually. Anyway, some, I don't know what these things are called. Some spiky bug things rolling like hedgehogs just almost flatten these guys, or almost impale them. They're able to tell that they're running away from something. Not only them, but we also see a lot of other creatures on the island, on Skull Island, startled. And we see why. We see Kong. Remember, Kong is agitated and being lured by Isabel's helicopter. Lured directly to Titan X. So Kentaro explains his plan. Kentaro explains to Kate his plan to save Hiroshi. Well, not really explains, but he reveals his plan. But she still disagrees. Kate gets taken away and gets locked in a closet. Lee and Keiko, they see the helicopter that is broadcasting the sounds and knows that it's leading Kong to Titan X. May and Tim, they hear cars coming and they plan to ambush it, which they do, and they take their car. We actually don't hear from these guys again, the people that they take the cars from. I guess they're just stranded on the island. In fact, we don't actually hear from the rest of Isabel's team for the rest of the episode. Or rather, like, we don't hear from them after everything that happens. So Keiko explains to Lee how Kate connected to Titan X, and how she has a recording of the sound it emits. And then Lee explains to Keiko how he connected to his past self to get the tracker on Titan X. But Keiko is upset that Lee didn't go to her in the past. Keiko is thinking maybe she could have been with Hiroshi. Maybe he could still be alive. Remember, Lee's reasoning is that if he'd gone to Keiko in the past, who knows how that would change the timeline, change the way events played out. I kind of wish there was a line in there. I kind of wish there was a line of Lee telling Keiko, listen, had I gone to you, had you been in Hiroshi's life, maybe you would have stopped him from marrying two women. Maybe your grandson, Kentaro, wouldn't exist. Since Kate was born first, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Had I saved you in the past, your grandson probably might not exist. I wish there was a line like that in the episode, but sadly there was not. Anyway, so Tim and May, coincidentally, find Lee and Keiko. They plan to use Titan X to open the rift that they found, and to use Keiko's recording. Anyway, so Lee splits off and goes to the helicopter alone with the recording, while everyone else goes to get Kate and Kentaro. Kate finds an air duct to escape from, and she even has to do some science stuff to open the rusted screw. She takes like steel wool, takes some sort of like cleaning spray, takes a battery so that, you know, when they all connect, it makes some sparks, it makes some fire, it loosens the rusted screw. Don't forget, she was an elementary school teacher. Though I don't think she's taught science. Anyway, so she crawls through the vents, and it leads her directly outside, right next to Titan X. But Titan X isn't so nice to Kate anymore, considering she is being aggroed. And of course, the opening behind her closes, so now Kate is just stuck stuck in front of an aggravated Titan. Great. Lucky for her though, Kong shows up. Tim and May run to the base while Keiko drives to save Kate. Yeah, they show up. So we get the big CGI fight. Kong and Titan X fight while Kate runs for her life. She is literally right below the two of them. Desperate for Kong to be killed, Isabel orders for Apex, well not really Apex, but orders for the Apex device in Titan X to be increased. Monarch infiltrates the base, so Kentaro maxes out the device on Titan X. Yep. Like I said, Kate is right below them fighting. We even see this awesome POV since she was knocked out for a second. And then she's lying flat on the floor looking up. We just see her POV of seeing two giant monsters fighting right on top of her. It was actually pretty cool. Yeah, Keiko drives up to her, or at least she tries to. Inside the abandoned Monarch base, Tim gets everyone away with his gun, so May can try to stop Titan X. But they can only unplug it to stop Titan X. They can't turn off the device from their end, because a certain someone maxed it out. Anyway, Keiko, luckily enough, gets out of the car to go and get Kate. But then in the fight, Kong steps on the car, so they need to run. Wow, lucky for Keiko, she got out of the car, because the car was imminently gonna get flattened under Kong's foot. So, Keiko and Kate, they're running. Tim and May open the garage for Kate and Keiko, revealing the egg's location to Titan X. And, wow, seeing the egg overpowers the weapon controlling her, unplugging herself. Yeah, her animalistic mother nature is more powerful than any science. Anyway, so Titan X stops fighting Kong and goes to her egg. And Kong recognizes this, so Kong actually just steps aside, climbs up on a mountaintop to sit on, and allows Titan X to leave. But she's going in the wrong way. So Lee shows up in the helicopter to pick everyone up and guide Titan X home. But Kate decides to run back and try to convince Kentaro. So she does meet up with Kentaro, who is about to enter a helicopter with Isabel Simmons. Now, Kentaro tells Kate about his plan. He tells Kate that Hiroshi went to Axis Mundi. When they thought that he abandoned them for a year? No, he finally tells Kate that it turns out he didn't abandon us. He went to Axis Mundi for that year where he disappeared. And Kentaro, he thinks that maybe he can save a version of him still down there. That is crazy. If he does that, that fucks up the whole timeline. Anyways, ultimately Kentaro decides to fly away with Isabel. So Kate rejoins everyone to save Titan X. They try using Keiko's recording to guide Titan X, but they need to play it louder for Titan X to hear. They crank up the audio to 11, and then they blow out the amps. So they decide to go closer, so Kate can guide Titan X. Kate stands on the very edge of the helicopter and guides Titan X to the rift. And yeah, Titan X opens the rift, and Kate, this was a nice moment, Kate reaches her hand out to say goodbye. Titan X actually does extend a tentacle to meet Kate's hand, and then returns home through the rift. But that's not all. There's something else happening at the rift. Old Lee sees his younger self. Even Keiko is able to see young Lee. Lee, the younger Lee, tries to say something to Keiko, but there's no audio. She cannot hear what young Lee is saying. Old Lee is saying, what I said to you before was I was saying goodbye to you. So both Lees were saying goodbye to Keiko. Anyways, we also see young Lee saluting to old Lee. They were both saluting to each other. It's actually crazy that this is the first time both actors shared the screen together. This is the first time we saw Kurt and Wyatt Russell on screen together, playing the same character. Anyways, that's the end of the story. Primarily, we cut to 6 weeks later. Lee has gone dark. Kate and Keiko visits Hiroshi's memory at a Monarch memorial. Turns out the very first one was Keiko's. You know, it's actually funny. Barris was about to take it down and give it to Keiko herself, but then he was just like, yeah, what if the world found out you actually were alive? What if the world found out about Axis Mundi? Time travel. Yeah, probably best to keep you a secret, the fact that you're still alive. So anyways, Barris shows them to their new office with Tim and May. They are now all going to run the basement together. Anyways, like I said, Lee has gone dark. And I can't remember exactly where the location is he went to. Maybe it was Thailand. Considering he meets someone alone, who I think was speaking Thai. He meets with someone to get information on Isabel and Kentaro. So, this guy and his men take Lee somewhere, but it's too dangerous to continue forward. All the guys are scared. They're like, nah, it's too dangerous to keep going. I ain't doing it. So Lee decides to go on his own. Yeah, even Lee is thinking he might be getting himself into something dangerous. So Lee, he walks towards a volcano in the distance. And who does he see? Lee sees Rodan. Rodan actually makes an appearance in the show. It almost seems like Lee has a plan for Rodan. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. But yeah, Lee sees Rodan at the end of Season 2. And that actually matches the timeline perfectly. Because the next canon event that takes place is Godzilla King of the Monsters, where we do see Rodan, I think, get killed by Ghidorah. So little do these characters know, another G-Day is upon them. Another G-Day is imminent. It is moments away. So, if we are to get a Season 3, it must take place after Godzilla King of the Monsters. I mean, I guess that's fine. They covered the big missing age. They covered the big missing time gap between the first Godzilla movie and King of the Monsters from 2014 to 2019. This show took place in 2015 to 2018. So, unless they do something risque, kind of like making Season 3, if we are to get one, taking place at the exact same time as the movie takes place, like they're reacting to Ghidorah in real time, they're saying, hey, some team in the Arctic found and unleashed Ghidorah. Like, unless a potential Season 3 takes place at the exact same time of the movie, it has to take place after the film. This is the first time we've had a film take place in between seasons. The last show I recall this happening was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyways, I mean, now that we know the Marvel Netflix shows are 100% canon, they didn't reference the films. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually did. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference Winter Soldier, reference Thor the Dark World, they even name dropped Thanos. Damn, it feels good to have a show connect to films again, like directly. Yeah, I know. James Gunn's DC universe, yada yada yada. So, I was gonna mention this sooner, but I wanted to hold off on mentioning this until the season ends, just in case. Now that the season is over, I couldn't help but notice that Season 2 kinda just forgot about a Season 1 character. No, not Verdugo, she was killed off in the first episode of Season 2. I'm talking about Duvall. Remember her? She was like a secondary background character in Season 1. I guess she really did die when all our characters fell into Access Mundi for the first time, because she completely vanished. She vanished, and she wasn't in Season 2 at all. Also, what I said at the very beginning of the season about Godzilla and Kong meeting before they actually met in film for the first time, yeah, never mind. They didn't actually meet. Season 2 of Monarch, Godzilla and Kong never shared the screen together once. Unless you count the opening intro. Which that obviously doesn't count. So yeah, never mind. Ignore what I said before. They did keep the continuity, and I like that. So Godzilla and Kong did not meet before Godzilla vs. Kong. They never met before. But the two of them did fight Titan X. Ah, it's great to see all this stuff connect. Rodan actually showing up is pretty awesome. You know, Rodan was only in one film, King of the Monsters, and that came out, 7 years ago. So we haven't seen Rodan in 7 years. Anyway, so whenever Season 3 comes out, if we are to get one, it will likely take place, obviously, after Godzilla King of the Monsters and before Godzilla vs. Kong. There is a time window in between those two films. King of the Monsters in 2019, Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, so they have 2 years worth of time to play with. I can't wait. And also, considering that Jason Trissop doesn't show up again, I guess he really did die. I guess he really was obliterated by Godzilla's atomic breath. I'm going to risk this, hoping Shinnada gets swapped. Shit! Whew. I gotta wake up early tomorrow, don't forget that. Okay, let me finish this run first. See if Heatran's shiny. If not, then I'll talk about From. Oh yeah, so earlier today, when I was training for the new job, I went to the grocery store and I'm able to get an employee discount. Damn, I wasn't sure if I should mention I'm a worker, like actually ordering the food or paying for the food. I wasn't sure when I was supposed to mention it, because I ordered the food, I went to the checkout, and then I was told you gotta let them know as they're getting the food for you. It's like, okay, so I went back. I mentioned to them, yeah, I work here now, I just started. So then they had to take back the food and prepare me all new ones. And it's like, damn, now I feel bad. I don't want to waste that food. They gave me a different box to scoop the food into. So I got the grocery store combo. I got the rice. I got the black pepper rice. And I got 2 sides. I got the beef and mushrooms, and I got the sweet and sour fish. And it comes with the soup as well. It came with like the hot and sour or the wonton soup. So they prepared me another one for the, you know, the employee price. I was given extra food and like a twice as big container for the soup, as opposed to what the public gets. And instead of spending $10.99 plus tax, I'm sure. I don't know if it charged tax, I don't know. Let's just say, instead of paying $10.99, I instead paid $6.77. That's actually not that bad. $6.77 for an entire meal, like a pretty big meal too. I was gonna eat half and then save the other half for like dinner, but then, yeah, I just decided to scarf it all down. You know, today was actually kind of busy at the beginning. Today there was all these appointments, and then because I didn't know what to do, everything just got backed up. I didn't know who got the papers yet, what else I needed to do, the computer system, yada yada yada. But then after all the appointments were done, it was dead silent. Ain't another thing to do all day. So this place, the business is going to be, you know, the entire opposite ends of the spectrum. It can be very quiet, or it can be very busy. Like, take for example yesterday. Yesterday I sat there for like 2.5 hours with nothing to do. And then today, for, yeah, almost 2.5 hours, it was busy, busy, busy. And then after that was over, it's just like, okay, sit here for the rest of the day with nothing to do. Nothing. Obviously, right now, the biggest issue for me is the damn learning curve. It's so much to learn, so much to do. But when it's chill, it's chill. I should also mention that even now, if I want to like pull out Pokemon Go when it's quiet, I can't even really do that because there is only one Pokestop nearby, and it is barely within range. If I'm lucky, the GPS drift will get me to it. And there's also no gym at all. So any future raid days are dead to me. I had to miss out entirely on the Shadow Entei raid day because I was there. It wasn't busy, so I could have done it had a gym been there. There's no gym there. So any future raid days are dead to me. Ugh. Anyways, let's go over from Season 4. Yes, we are finally back. I'll be honest, I don't know why this show took so long to come back. By the looks of it, each season drops like a year and a half in between. So it seems like once Season 4 is done, I gotta wait another year and a half for Season 5, if there is one. I don't know if this is the last season. Whew! Because it's very obvious they they filmed these episodes back to back. They filmed these seasons back to back. Because we begin this episode directly from where we left off. Immediately. So yeah, we continue immediately after Season 3 ended, where the man in yellow kills Jim. And we saw this at the end of Season 3. The man in yellow implies Julie has traveled in time several times before. The man in yellow says to her that you can't change a story once it's been told. Obviously, we see that the man in yellow killed Jim. And this is not the Julie that we've been following yet. It implies that she traveled through time to try to change the story. Try to change her father from dying. Anyway, so this Julie from the future disappears. So then the man in yellow turns and talks to Jim as he's dying. He says to Jim that his favorite part is next. Yeah, what comes up next? Sorry you can't see it, Jim, because my favorite part is coming up next. Anyway, so we see another man. A new man we don't even know the name of yet, or if at all. We see another man stopped by the tree in the road. We'll follow up with him afterwards. Fatima, just like at the end of Season 3, explains to Ellis, or did explain to Ellis, and Kenny what she saw. The monsters used to be people, and they sacrificed their children to make a deal for immortality. Make a deal with who or what? We don't know yet. So, Kenny goes searching for Boyd in the tunnels. And then Kenny sees the main smiling monster back. The one that they killed. Boyd explains to Kenny after they escape. Boyd explains to Kenny how it respawned. Pretty much saying, yeah, Christy gave birth to that thing. We see Donna call Christy to go help Elgin because Sarah cut his eye out. I thought Sarah may have just tortured him at the end of Season 3, just maybe poked around in his eye to cause pain. No, she cut his eye out entirely. Poor guy. Elgin's a good guy. He was just convinced by something bad. But, you know, Elgin didn't deserve to have his eye cut out. So we see the man in yellow. He digs up a suitcase, but we don't see what's inside just yet. Boyd and Kenny go back to the sheriff's office. Boyd takes out a secret stash of bullets to count. He counts how many bullets they have, and he also asks Kenny how many people they currently have now. He's gonna need a head count. After seeing the monster that they killed respawn, Boyd now thinks there is no winning. And maybe the only way out might be to use the bullets and kill themselves. So that's why he needs to count. If worse comes to shove, if they have enough bullets for everyone here. Kenny says they have 47 people now. 47. Well, Christy needs to stitch up Elgin's eye socket shut. And we see Acosta help hold his head still. And they zoom in uncomfortably. They show a really uncomfortable close-up of, you know, the sutures going into Elgin's eye socket. They have limited resources, but Christy was able to do some sort of spray on his eye to numb it, but there's only so much they can do. Anyway, so the new car comes into town crashing into the sheriff's office. So now, they might not be able to use the sheriff's office at night anymore, because there's a big gaping hole in the middle of the wall. And no, the car is not blocking all exits. It crashed right into a window. So there's a big open wall in the sheriff's office. The monsters can get in, so they cannot use the sheriff's office anymore. That's one less building for them to use at night. Am I winning? No. So inside the car was a man and his daughter. The same man we saw a little bit earlier who saw the tree in the road. Everyone rushes to help them. Boyd has someone go get the ambulance. The girl, Sophia, is stuck. There's sharp metal at her neck, and she's frantically worried about her dad, who is currently unconscious. He crashed into the wall, he's unconscious. They do manage to free her. Mariel shows up and checks on the unconscious man, and then goes to check Sophia. Sophia explains to Mariel that her dad started to have symptoms of a seizure as they were arriving. Both Mariel and Boyd know that this isn't the first time, because people like Elgin, Ethan, and Sarah all had them, but differently. I have made a poor financial decision once again. Oh no, what did you do? What 1K balls did you purchase this time? Don't worry, if we're talking about poor financial decisions, I'm sure I outclass you tenfold. Yeah, they try to pry the door open. Randall suggests using a winch. They get the man onto the gurney and wheel him to the ambulance to go to the clinic. Kenny volunteers to go to the clinic for the night because one of them should be there for the father and daughter to explain what's going on if the father wakes up. Well, he does also tell Boyd that he needs to go see Fatima and Ellis. Jade walks up and tries to talk to Tabitha about the truth that they just learned. You picked up the Spider-Man Bakugan! How much did that cost you? How much did that set you back? For like 150?! Only need the Wolverine now, though. Do I dare ask how much that one goes for? Like 20? Oh. Well, I guess that makes sense. We're talking about Spider-Man here. And Wolverine. Anyways, yeah, Jade tries to talk to Tabitha about what they just learned. But Tabitha, she needs time. She's not sure what to believe. She's not sure if any of that's true. She actually cleverly uses Sarah trying to kill Ethan because she believes something told her they would all go home as an example. So she doesn't know if this is true or not. Could be just another trick this place is trying to play on them. Everyone keeps on pointing out that Jim isn't home yet, and it'll be dark soon. Oh, about that, As Boyd goes to Colony House, Acosta, yeah, she is not fond of Boyd at all. They have a very heated exchange as Acosta leaves to go to the diner alone for the night. And then we see the jukebox on the table start playing on their own again. I hope Acosta locked the doors. Boyd calls Donna to come listen to what he has to tell Fatima, Ellis, and Christy, who was there checking on Fatima. And, oh my god, exposition on screen for once. Did you not hear me complain throughout the first 3 goddamn seasons that every time a character needs to explain something, it's always off screen? They always explain it off screen. We never see the character's reaction to being explained this crazy stuff. Oh my god, they actually have Boyd explain things on camera! Boyd explains how the kimono woman took the baby and it turned into the monster reborn. We actually do get to see the character's reaction. And randomly at the same time, Victor is making a lot of noise, dragging a bed to his room for his dad. Yeah, that was very random, because it doesn't come back up in the episode. It just happened out of nowhere. And it's not mentioned at all for the rest of the episode. Anyways, Fatima is horrified. Not surprising at all. She just learned that she was pregnant, she gave birth, and the monster that they killed was born out of her. Was reborn out of her, I should say. Fatima also tries to explain to them how she knows about the origins of the monsters. Everyone keeps on poking her like, alright, you gotta think. What else do you know? I don't know. I only saw snippets. I only saw some stuff. Alright, Fatima, you need to know more. Tell us more. Tell us what else happened. Yeah, Fatima gets up because she's upset no one believed her, that something was inside her. And she leaves to go take a shower. Okay. We see Kenny explain to Sophia what this place is off screen. Oh, never mind. It was nice while the moment lasted. Everyone is super worried Jim isn't home yet. If only they knew. They hold out hope he'll return, just like how Tabitha disappeared for a while, and she still made it back. So they hold out hope that Jim might return, but, about that, So, we see the aftermath of the conversation. Sophia seems to accept this place surprisingly fast, and prays with Kenny. She accepts this place relatively fast. Like, so you're telling me the monsters come out at night? Okay, it's not a problem because God will keep us safe. Will you pray with me? Anyway, so, yeah. Boyd explains to everyone how they now have maybe a 15 to 16-year-old girl waiting for her father to recover in this horrible place. She will probably die here, where monsters smile. Almost like these monsters are possessed by the smile demon. Any life that she knew is over. Yeah, Boyd is really losing all hope. Ever since seeing the monster he killed respawn, yeah, he's losing hope. But Christy tells him off. Christy is telling Boyd not to show everyone he is losing hope. Because Boyd is the beacon. Boyd is the shining light that gives everyone else hope. And if people see Boyd is losing hope, well, that's when people start hanging themselves in bathrooms, like we saw earlier in the show. Ellis asks everyone to leave so that he can talk to his father alone, and Boyd breaks down. If he can't get his son home, then none of the sacrifices meant anything. Like Ellis's mother. Well, Tabitha, Julie, and Ethan, they're just at home, worried about Jim, nothing to do. And then they see some paranormal activity shit in the kitchen as things move on their own. Cupboards open and close on their own. Well, that was random. Okay. So anyways, the ending of this episode reveals something, a big storyline moving forward for this season. So we see Sophia, quote-unquote, make her father wake up, but he can't move. She explains very creepily to her father that she couldn't appear to them how she was before. It turns out Sophia is the man in yellow shapeshift into a girl. And we finally see what was inside that suitcase. It was a little girl's dress. So, and also once again, wow, CGI. We see literally a CGI body shift into a girl. So we see the man in yellow's naked body CGI shift into a girl's body. It was gross. So we also see her stretch now that she's in her new body. Sorry, now that he's in his new female body, posing as a little girl, infiltrating them. It turns out she was a hitchhiker in the man's car. She made him have a seizure as he drove into the building, into town, into the sheriff's office. She then very creepily whispers to the man, this is her favorite part, where they tear themselves apart. And then he kills the man by suffocating him. Just hand over his mouth, fingers pinching his nose. He can't breathe. Remember, he can't move either. He's conscious, but he can't move. And that's the episode. That's the end of the episode, revealing that the man in yellow has infiltrated our people, disguised as a little girl. Yo, get this man in yellow an Oscar, because the way he was acting, posing as Sophia, yo, this dude can act. Man, forget tormenting these people, get yourself in a movie, man. You can shapeshift and you can act like that, yo. You would generate some banger films, I tell you that. But here's what concerns me about the plot. Because the episode ends, we see at the end, the ending credits say, guest star Aeon Bailey as Jim Matthews. Like, what? That's not a good sign. That's a very not good sign. The fact that Aeon Bailey is considered a guest star, that means he's not a series regular. That means Jim won't be showing up for the season. At least not a lot. If at all. And like I said, it's very clear that they filmed these scenes back to back. It's very clear that the scene they filmed long ago. So there's a chance that Jim really is dead. Permanently dead. there's a chance that Aeon Bailey is done as Jim, because his character is dead. And like I said, they filmed this scene long ago. It was at the end of Season 3. So there's a chance that Aeon Bailey didn't return to film Season 4. I don't know if he did or not. Maybe he'll show up later. There's a good chance he could show up later, but the fact that he is labeled as a guest star for a scene that was filmed long ago, so he didn't show up to film anytime soon after this, that's a very bad sign to me, that Jim might be a goner. But who knows? They may pull a Wilson Fisk in Daredevil Season 2, where Season 2 of Daredevil, the original show on Netflix, Wilson Fisk didn't really show up. And when he did, he was also labeled as a guest star. And then, look at that. After Season 2, he was a regular in Season 3. He's a regular in Daredevil Born Again Season 1 and Season 2. So there's a chance that if for the near future, he is just going to be a guest star. Maybe, if the story's not over with Season 4, if we get a Season 5, he could return as a series regular. We don't know yet. But as of right now, the fact that Aeon Bailey is a guest star really makes me worried for Jim. We literally saw the character die in front of us. So there's a chance that Jim is gone. There's a chance that he's really gone. But we do know that sometime in the future, Julie will discover time travel and will try to go back and save her father. And, well, that's how we can see Aeon Bailey back playing Jim in different points in the past. Because the Man in Yellow did imply this is not the first time they met as Julie time travels. So in the future, we could see several instances of Jim revisiting old scenes, now altered with Julie in them. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that concerns me, the fact that he's labeled as a guest star. He's no longer a series regular. Damn, I liked Jim too. Whew. Well, I think we are absolutely screwed, because we still have, well, actually, oh, never mind, we have one more. I thought, oh, I thought we were about to enter Heatran. That's a Poliwrath, and that's a Barraskewda. I'm gonna do the Barraskewda, because I don't want to risk getting Poliwrath on the team and then swapping it out with the Scientist. I am gonna go pee real quick. Oh. Okay, I'm back. I haven't watched him in a while. I still need to finish watching his PvZ Fusion Let's Play. BRB about to make more financial mistakes? Me too. The new Splatoon amiibos, I haven't bought those yet. You know, I mentioned the NBA basketball game earlier. The only reason I even knew it was happening was because 2 nights ago, Friday night, I hung out with my friends. They were watching it. I don't know who the dude is that made that one shot where the ball bounced up from the net, came all the way back down and actually went through the hoop. Man, I wish I recorded my friends' reactions because they jumped out of their seats for that. My brother-in-law actually said he met that guy's father at work. That's cool. Damn! Of course it could be Cryogonal who got swapped out. Oh yeah, also the other night, while I was at my friend's house, we were just looking for things to watch, and we put on, of all things, the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary reunion, or special, not reunion. It was actually pretty crazy to see the sets recreated. We see Miley Cyrus return and actually sing the Hannah Montana theme song. I didn't watch the whole thing because I had to leave early to get ready for the next day, waking up early to start training. So I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I will. Man, as weird as it sounds, Hannah Montana was my childhood. As I said before, I probably watched more of the Disney Channel shows growing up than literally anyone I know. Probably all my friends combined. And that's because growing up, my sister watched those, and I watched those too. I was too poor for Disney Channel. Oh. And you know, I completely forgot that Hannah Montana did a crossover with not only That's So Raven, but also with Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I completely forgot about that. You know, I mentioned this before. Nobody talks about the Disney Channel connected universe, because they would do crossovers between their shows all the time. So as I already just mentioned, Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, That's So Raven, they all crossed over, which canonizes Cory in the House. Sweet Life with Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck, crossed over with Wizards of Waverly Place, crossed over with, let me see. Oh, I'm trying to remember all the crossovers, because Good Luck Charlie crossed over with Shake It Up. Shake It Up crossed over, I think, with Austin and Ally. And obviously Jesse crossed over, yeah, you said Jesse, Ultimate Spider-Man. Jesse crossed over with Sweet Life, because Mr. Mosby showed up. So yeah, nobody talks about the Disney Channel connected universe. It's kind of crazy to think that simply crossing over with Wizards of Waverly Place confirms that all of these grounded shows, Wizards, Magic, other dimensions, they all exist. Vampires, werewolves, they all exist. So, next time you're rewatching Good Luck Charlie, Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, all these mystical creatures exist. I'm gonna do one more run. I don't want to end this on a loss. So does that mean Marvel Heroes and Wizards are canon? You just have to suspend disbelief that nobody mentioned Spider-Man. And would you believe? Not only do we know all these things exist, we also know that, of all things, I think it was the Loch Ness Monster exists, because we saw it in Sweet Life on Deck, albeit it was a very low-budget puppet that they used. Man, I miss those Disney Channel shows. You know, we don't have those nowadays. The things that kids grow up with now? Ugh. Shame. I saw this video where this kid doesn't even know cartoons anymore. It's like, no son of mine is gonna grow up not knowing SpongeBob, not knowing Fairly Odd Parents. Oh, speaking of which. So, I saw on YouTube, Butch Hartman, he did a video revealing the canon love interest for Timmy Turner. Because I know fans have been pondering this for years. Fans, like myself, just couldn't sleep at night thinking about this. Who does Timmy Turner end up with in the future? I have to know. Well, he finally tells us, and gee, who would have guessed? Who could have guessed? He listed out the 3 top options. The 3 top candidates. It was either Trixie Tang, Tootie, or Chloe. Immediately crosses out Chloe, and then has solid arguments for Trixie, but then obviously not. Gee, who would have guessed that it would have been Tootie all along? It's not like they already hinted at this with the live-action Fairly Odd Parents movie with Drake Bell and Danielle Monette, I think that's her last name. Gee, it's not like they already hinted towards us or even shown us to our faces that Timmy and Tootie actually hook up. But anyways, as if actually having it on film wasn't canon enough, wasn't confirmation enough, yes, Butch Hartman has come out and said Timmy Turner will end up with Tootie in the future. You want to know a crossover that I always wanted to see, but it would actually make no sense at all? I always wanted to see a crossover between SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents. Now, that would make no sense whatsoever, considering SpongeBob are sea creatures, and Timmy Turner is an actual kid with fairies. But magic! Anything can be possible with magic. Yeah, but that's still hard to explain why Timmy is now in the ocean with SpongeBob. So a crossover between the two shows would make literal no sense. As much as I wanted it, even I knew as a kid, yeah, this would not make sense. This would not work. Even if they come up with a reason, that reason would be pretty weak. Unless, I don't know, they had Drake Bell show up playing Timmy Turner and he met Patchy the Pirate. That would probably be the closest we would have ever gotten. You know, growing up, after school, right when I got home, SpongeBob would be airing, and then right after Fairly Odd Parents would end. It was wonderful. And if I didn't feel like watching those, I could turn to the Disney Channel, and right there, right then and there, Phineas and Ferb would play. Growing up was wonderful with those on TV. Kids nowadays, they don't have that. You know, I'm actually at the age where I see kids do stupid stuff, like smoke in parking lots, and I'm just thinking to myself, ugh, damn kids. Damn, I'm actually at that age. What's sad is all these kids are taller than me. What's sad is these groups of kids can jump me, honestly, because they are big. I don't know what kids are eating these days. Damn, I clearly didn't get any of that when I was growing up. All the stuff I ate made me tall horizontally, not vertically. Okay, anyways, there you go. All 4 shows covered today. We're done with Monarch now, so it should be a little more chill going forward. For a time, at least. We're done with Invincible, we're done with Monarch, so now we only have The Boys, Daredevil, and From. Once The Boys and Daredevil are done, then I'm gonna do a little bit of catch-up with Ted Season 2, and Beast Games. The next shows that are coming out will be Spider Noir and Lanterns. I didn't know it was possible for a physical calendar year. Wait, no. For a calendar year to physically snort some coke. Because, yo, this year is crazy with all this content. Damn, ain't nothing good here. You know, yesterday on my first day of training, I did get injured, but it was very small. Once again, the screwdriver slid and stabbed me right in the hand. A little bit of blood did come out, but it's a very small cut. If anything, it's more like a wide needle poke. Eh, that's fine. It's a very tiny little cut. Well, at least one of the bug types took it. No, I'm just gonna attack. I was about to do coaching. Nah, I'm just gonna attack. Aw, my friends tell me that the Toronto Raptors lost the game tonight. Oh well, I don't really care. Sorry, sports fans. Because I'm not. First the Blue Jays, now the Raptors. Oh well. Like I said before, I don't watch sports. I don't even watch esports. You know, I still remember that one scene in She-Hulk where she mentions that esports are a legitimate thing now, and then they show this dude playing on a Nintendo Switch. God, that was stupid. I don't think I'm gonna win this. Well, unless I get lucky, we'll see. Oh, nice! We actually did win. Sweet. Can I win in general with the shiny? I can't believe I'm spending this much time on Heatran of all things. Hiya! Damn it! 1 in 100 shiny odds, my ass. Y'all wanna see my current alpha decks? I'ma show you my alpha decks. Oh, wait till you see one of the shinies I got during this. No, not this box. So, starting here, these are all the alphas I have. Obviously, some of them I have yet to evolve. I need 9 alpha EVs, and I don't even have a single one. I don't think doing this... I don't think I've even seen a single EV since I started this, let alone an alpha one. So, we're making good progress. There's still some gaps missing. Some of them are rather difficult to get. But we are making progress. Some of them I have yet to evolve. So yeah, there you go. And let me show you some of the shinies I've gotten. So, oh, not these ones. Everything just goes to the earliest space. So I got this. I got a shiny alpha Gardevoir. Too bad it's male. But that's okay. I already got a shiny alpha female Gardevoir. I got a freaking shiny alpha Gardevoir while doing this. But it's fine, cause where is it? Is it this? Yeah. I already got myself a female alpha shiny Gardevoir. Wait, that's not that one. So now I have two! Well, anyways, there's the update on the alphas. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.